All right, it looks like we're all in. Everybody's up on the screen that I see. You look lovely in pink, pretty in pink, everybody. So we'll start today's meeting. Today is the Board of Commissioners regular meeting on October 12th, 2021. Melody, I'll let you go with the logistics and the roll call. So you're up.
All right, good evening. Just a couple logistics for this meeting. Please make sure to keep your video on during the meeting. Also, please make sure to mute yourself when you're not talking. For our board members, the mayor will be calling on each of you individually to provide comments and votes. When voting, please remember to identify yourselves by stating your name and your vote. If you'd like to speak at any point during the meeting, please raise your hand and be mindful of your background. If we are in the middle of a presentation and you are raising your hand but not being called on, please feel free to speak up. Most importantly, we want to make sure that all the board members are able to participate in this meeting fully. So if you experience any difficulties technically, just give me a text. Next, we need to take the roll call. Please indicate if you are present. Mayor Ronald Pappas.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Brenda McMillan.
Present.
Commissioner Jason Hall.
Present.
Commissioner Ann Simpson.
Present.
Commissioner Tracy Westlick.
Present.
And Commissioner Pedro Morey.
Present.
Thank you. All members are present. Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Very good. Thank you, Melody. All right, this meeting is now hereby called to order. So if you would please now join me for you stand up and we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance, and then please remain standing for a brief moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. All right, everybody's back on. It's just, I have a huge pink screen up here. It looks pretty cool. So that's great. All right, are there any, we're down to item C, adoption of tonight's agenda. Are there any requested changes to tonight's agenda? Commissioner Simpson.
Yes, Mayor Pappas, I would like to move the proclamation in support of breast cancer off the consent agenda and give it a little bit more prominence and significance, given the importance of what that stands for.
Very good. Motion's up to move that. Let's go around the horn on this one. Mayor Pro Tem.
Aye.
Commissioner Westlick.
Aye. I'm sorry, Commissioner Westlick, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Back to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Very good. All right. Unanimous motion around there. We'll drop down real quick here down to the consent agenda. So motion to approve tonight's consent agenda as amended. We'll start again with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Westlick.
Commissioner Westlick, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
And back to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Very good. We'll go around that pretty easy then. All right, so it's approved as amended. So now we're going to come down to item F here, and I'm going to have join me in our broadcast studio. I'm going to have Billy Sellers along with Dina Sabinsky. Come on in.
Real quick, Mayor, just wanted to note we didn't have any public comments for tonight.
And I saw that and didn't read it, so thank you. All right, come on in. Let's see if I can do this if you want to stand. I'll move the camera up a little bit. So there you go. So Dina, floor is yours.
And I do have a presentation to give out, but where are we at? There we go. We would like to present to Billy Sellers, his 20-year anniversary is this week. And we are so grateful to have him with us, as the town is like multiplied within these 20 years and grown so much. He was with the Parks and Rec Department in the very beginning. So he set a lot of foundations for us to move forward, and which I am extremely grateful for. I have a small presentation after we do this, but we have this beautiful plaque for Bill, and we just want to say thank you and just a blessing that he's been for the town and for the citizens of Waxhaw. I just want to thank you very much.
Billy, thank you for all your time here. And I bet you've seen a whole bunch.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. This little teary-eyed there, but
Yeah.
it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. That's great.
All right, I'm going to start my
Showcase that?
presentation. Yeah. Oh, do you want to do this too?
Sure.
All right.
So what, if you can see this a little bit in the reflections, what I have here in my hand is the award for the 10th consecutive year of the safety program to the town of Waxhaw, the safety director. So I'm gonna let you hold that one too.
Yeah.
I got this the other night from the folks over at the Union County Chamber of Commerce. So a well-deserved award for everybody, and thank you for your leadership in that role.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
And I forgot to introduce his wife and his mom is with us tonight, so we
We're
want to
there,
appreciate them for
somebody.
coming as well.
So very good.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Any thoughts, comments by anybody up there? You got your opportunity if you would.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Billy.
So thank you for all your years of service. Thank you.
Yes, you have definitely helped Waxhaw and have been a tremendous asset to this town. So we do appreciate you.
It's been a privilege and an honor. I've been very fortunate.
That's very good. And we have to.
Thanks.
Thank you. Good luck.
Listen.
All right, we'll do a little stage change there. Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
All right, everyone, I do have a small little presentation. I would like to share my screen.
So we're ready on the Parks and Rec. You're ready to go down to item G. Is that correct?
Mayor, can I share the presentation for Bill?
Okay, go ahead. I didn't know you had that in addition.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to, showcase all the wonderful things that Billy has been with the town, and this is kind of like a walk through time on his journey with us and his growth as an adult through the town. So again, Billy's been with us for 20 years and has done an amazing job and has been a foundation employee for the town, and we do appreciate him. With public service, he started off there and then moved into Parks and Rec, and then the safety coordinator as well. So please enjoy these couple slides of pictures going back in time with Billy Sellers.
Uh-oh, this is awful.
So you will see him at like the old town hall. That's him there. And this is with him, Todd and the crew with public services. Then also moving in with Parks and Rec, all the safety awards, all the jobs he's done over the years, the putting in the first thread trail with the town, him as a little boy. We found all kinds of pictures, and then just doing an awesome job through the years. Again, safety awards. PD is really going to really enjoys his help with keeping them with their safety awards as well, helping us on getting possibly a kayak launch in the future. So he's totally been a team player, helping us get the parks up and going, bringing new amenities to the park, and being part of our team family, which you understand that is a big part of Waxhaw for us as employees. He's also enjoyed being his alter ego as Santa, and we will definitely enjoy him in the future for doing that. But just being
are generally part of our team family. And that is my presentation, A Walk in Time with Billy Sellers.
That's enough.
Congratulations on that. I didn't know you played Santa Claus that often.
Yeah, that's nice.
This is Mrs. Claus. That's Mrs. Claus.
I
out there.
like to make, I like to help make people happy.
Well, you have, in a big way.
Yeah, it's been a blessing.
All right,
Thank you so much for your time.
very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dina, so appreciate that, and then really is rare to have somebody anymore be in a position for 5 years or 10, no less 20 years, and quite an achievement, quite an achievement. All
Yes,
right, from that, now we will move down to presentations. It's the Dina show tonight. I think she's up.
1 second, Mayor. Could we pop back up to the consent agenda as amended and adopt it?
Think that we did?
We didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we read off that we did it as amended.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Okay. I mean, you might go back there and look at that. I think we did.
And that was just the consent agenda.
And which one are you looking for? The one that you said we didn't?
The consent agenda.
We can do it again. I'm fine with that. We have a motion up on the floor to adopt tonight's consent agenda as amended. So motion up by Commissioner Simpson. We'll start again with Mayor Pro Tem.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Westlake,
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Commissioner Morey,
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Commissioner Hall, aye.
back to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Third time's a charm. There we go. We're in. All right, so now the Dina Show Part 2 starts. And so Dina, welcome back again on the presentations side here for something near and dear to you. Mute. You're muted. There you go. Out of memory. There you go. You unmute yourself and you're golden.
my IT group would be so proud of me. I didn't panic. All righty. So we have awesome news. We have been awarded the North Carolina Part of Grant. And what that means is like, yes, we have the opportunity to have these funds, and it's $425,000 to help with our phase 2 of the downtown park. That's going to help us with all of our amenities, our playground, our fitness area. So this is such a blessing for us to have this funding from the state. This is a very, very competitive grant. As I told y'all in the springtime when we asked for permission to go for it. So we were the top 5 applicants. There were only 14 applicants out of the whole state, and it was over 60 applicants together. And we were in that top 5 that was awarded. So this is major kudos for the town of Waxhaw and for, getting this amount, which is huge. But being that close in the running with our other Park and Rec team members in the state. So again, this is a huge, awesome thing for us. And I wanted to give out a celebration that we have this funding coming to help us build our downtown park. Any questions?
That's quite the accomplishment. Jeff, go ahead.
Mayor, if I may, I just want to reiterate to everybody how much of an accomplishment this is. And it was all led by your Parks and Recreation Director, Dina Sabinski. Can be very proud of this success. As she said, it's a very competitive grant process. And historically, for Waxhaw, I think this is one of the largest grants we've ever received. The only one in recent times that we could think of that was a larger amount than this is the TAP grant. But at this rate, this project might actually get done before that TAP grant anyway. So this is a tremendous accomplishment. I mean, there's a whole lot of help from the staff here, a lot of time and a lot of effort put in. But Dina deserves a lot of credit for being the leader putting this all together. It's a tremendous accomplishment. We're very excited and can't wait to get moving on the project.
Yes.
Awesome. And I'm looking at the list here of the applicants. There's 14 of them here. And I think we're one of the top 5 with our $425,000 award. And everybody should really take note that this is a matching grant. And that means that we, as a town, have put ourselves in a position to match the grant financially. That's not been something that's been done before. So kudos to, I guess, all of us, if you will, Dina's team especially, but all of our finance team, our town manager, and all the commissioners that helped make all this happen to put us in this position to be able to accept and not only accept, but compete in this. The awards are anywhere from, looks like 268,000 to capped out at 500. And I think we're about number 4 in that list, or 5. But that is, that's quite an achievement in under 2 years to be able to put that all back together. And I'm looking at Dina over in the other room over here. So she's all smiles over there, which is great. But again, it's all relative to how much of a team effort it was. Everybody got together and decided how we're going to do this. If you remember, we did talk about this earlier in the year and set her off in motion to be able to get this grant. And everybody in the town, in the staff, did their part on making sure that the application was not only in, but correct. And it was flawless. So Dina and team and everybody, congratulations. That's awesome. That's really an achievement. All right. All right, we'll move on a little bit after that. We've got another little presentation to make. I think that the town clerk is going to move on to this one, which we moved off the consent agenda. So Melody, you're up for this. This is happens to be on the breast cancer awareness. So you're up.
All right, thanks, Mayor. So this is a proclamation in support of National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas breast cancer touches the lives of Americans from every background and in every community across our nation. Whereas while considerable progress has been made in the fight against breast cancer, it remains the most frequently diagnosed type of non-skin cancer and second leading cause of cancer deaths among women. Whereas thousands of women and men will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and tens of thousands of women are expected to lose their lives to the disease. Whereas the exact causes of breast cancer are unknown, understanding its risk factors is essential to prevention. Older women and those who have a personal or family history of breast cancer are among those of greater risk of developing the illness. Early detection is also key in the fight against breast cancer. Getting recommended screening mammograms can help to detect breast cancer early. Women and men are encouraged to speak with their healthcare provider about breast cancer and to visit www.cancer.gov to learn more about symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment. Whereas this month, we stand with those who have been affected by breast cancer, and we recognize the ongoing efforts of dedicated advocates, researchers, and healthcare providers who strive each day to defeat this terrible disease. In memory of the loved ones we have lost and inspired by the resilience of those living with disease, let us strengthen our resolve to lead our nation toward a future free from cancer in all its forms. And now, therefore, be it proclaimed, I, Ronald P. Pappas, Mayor of the Town of Waxhaw, do hereby proclaim October 2021 as National Breast Cancer Awareness Month in Union County, and urge all citizens to support this observance. I further urge our citizens to increase their awareness, education, and importance of early detection of breast cancer, which deeply affects a large number of families in our state each year, and to dedicate themselves to prevention, detection, and treatment of breast cancer. Duly adopted this the 12th day of October 2021. That's the end.
Great. Thank you, Melody. And as some of you know, one of our own has gone through some challenges along this line. And Tracy, we want to say that we're here with you. We support you. You've been very, very courageous in going through your challenges with it. And you're here to share every day with us. So we're happy about that. So as the commercials sometimes say, this one's for you. So.
Thank you for all your support. And yes, I announced last time, but I'm a 1-year survivor now. But just remember, we have other women right now in Waxhaw that are battling the disease. So anything y'all can do to reach out to help them would be most appreciated.
Very good. Thank you. All right. That is something we ought to be mindful of, which is interesting to hear that, we always think of breast cancer associated with the women, but there are some men I know that have had the same issue to deal with. So don't think it's not going to come your way someday. Just make sure that the guys are making sure that they do their self-exams as well. So don't lose thought of that. So thank you, Melody, for that. All right, we have nothing on the public hearing side, no old business. We have new business tonight and a couple of things, a couple of ordinances up here. I think we're going to have Theo, you're going to be leading off on and actually this first one here. So I'm going to give you the floor.
Mayor, real quick, could we have a motion to adopt the proclamation?
Oh, we sure can. I'm sorry, I read it again. I'm so used to signing it off like I already did it. All right, so we're going to go back and make this a formal proclamation. So I have a motion.
I'll make the motion to adopt the proclamation.
Very good. Motion is up to adopt. We're going to go round robin again. In the honor, I'm going to ask Commissioner Westlake to go first.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Back to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
All right. We're back on track. I think once again, I had signed that earlier and just made some assumptions. So let's keep on moving then. All right, we are going to go to item J1, back up to Theo. And we'll again give you the floor for your presentation on ordinance 202-1017, establishing a special project fund for the downtown Waxhaw origin destination study. You're tag teaming this with Rosemary, so you're first.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I will provide an update on the Origin Destination Study grant that was awarded to the town by the Charlotte Regional Transportation Planning Organization. This is a quick review of what the Origin Destination Study is and how it will help us. The Origin Destination Study involves traffic data collection and will be used to determine where traffic is going in and around Waxhaw. The data will also give us a picture of which traffic is headed downtown versus which traffic has to go downtown because of a lack of alternate routes. The study will assist town staff with transportation planning and transportation analysis related to future roadway projects and future development. Last October, the board approved for staff to submit for this planning grant through the CRTPO. The grant was for $60,000 with a 20% match, and that grant was awarded to the town by CRTPO. In addition to that $60,000, we are requesting an additional not to exceed amount of $10,000 that will be used to provide engineering support and quality control through the town's on-call traffic engineering consultant. Throughout the selection process, we solicited multiple engineering firms and asked them to submit letters of interest for the project. A total of 6 letters were submitted, and we narrowed that down to a list of 3 firms, shortlisted them, and we conducted interviews with those firms. All the firms were qualified, but we selected Kittleson and Associates. Kittleson has strong origin destination study background as well as strong technical skills. The selection was made by town staff, Matt and I, as well as we had members from NCDOT and Union County support us in the selection committee. We are ready to begin work on that project once the budget is established. I'll go ahead and turn it over to Rosemary so she can speak about the special fund.
Thank you, Theo. So now that we have the grant, we need to set up a special project fund so that we can keep our revenues and our expenditures for this project all in one location. This is a reimbursement grant, so we will have to expend the funds, request the money, and receive it back in. As Theo said, it's a $48,000 grant with a $12,000 match that we will match with general operating funds, and then an additional $10,000. I believe there's a copy of the budget with your packets. So we'd like to entertain an ordinance establishing this special project fund and the amount of $70,000 and authorizing the town manager and finance director to execute the terms of the agreement. Does anybody have any questions?
All right, no questions up there right now. We've obviously talked about this before. Up, Brenda McMillan, I see your hand just come up. So please, Mayor Pro Tem, go for it.
One quick question, just for clarification for anyone who's watching. With this fund, we are putting towards the $60,000, $12,000, and then you are asking, you stated an extra $10,000?
Yes, ma'am. So for completion of the project, it's my understanding from the engineers that there would be an additional $10,000 needed to complete the full project. The grant did not cover all of the expenditures they're expecting.
Okay,
I'm
I
sure-
was just
I'm
asking
sure
for
Theo can-
clarification. Yeah,
Pardon?
just clarification for anyone who is watching or listening so that they fully understand exactly what
Yes,
the money
ma'am.
is and how much we're putting out.
Yes. Theo, I don't know if you have anything to add to that?
Yes, so out of the 70,000 total, we will be receiving 48,000 from the CRTPO. So town funds expended on this project will be $22,000.
Good. All right, any other thoughts, questions, comments on this one? Looking around the screen here up, Commissioner Simpson, I see your hand coming forward.
Just to clarify, this information that we're going to collect is going to help us to determine where vehicles originate from and where their final destination is, and if they're using that route through town.
Yes, that'll be part of it. The traffic analysis portion will show us what impact the Northwest Parkway, once that's completed, how is that going to affect traffic downtown? It'll also show us how will the Northeast Parkway affect traffic downtown. We have some money in the budget besides the data collection to do traffic analysis at some of the intersections downtown to see how they'll operate with some proposed improvements. It'll help us get a cost benefit analysis, how much these projects cost versus how much impact they will have downtown.
And then from that information, we can put, I'm assuming we can augment any plans that we may have to mitigate all these traffic issues and make infrastructure improvements.
Yes,
That's the goal.
Yes, it'll help guide our decision making, especially to the downtown grid, to make sure that the proposed improvements will have the intended effect that we have, that we foresee that they would.
Great, thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Theo. Appreciate that. Any other questions for our two presenters on this item tonight? Looking up on the screen.
I have a question actually for Jeff. Do we need a second motion awarding the contract to, was it Kittleson and Associates?
Yes.
Yes, we would. Yes.
Okay. So we'll need a motion to adopt the ordinance and then a second motion to award the contract to Kittleson and Associates.
Do we need two or can we combine them?
You can combine them if you'd like.
All right, thank you. All right, any other questions on either one of those two topics from the two presenters? So if we put up a motion for this, make sure it includes both items, please. So may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the submission of Kettleson and award them the contract for this project, and to approve and adopt ordinance 2021-017, establishing a special project fund and budget for the downtown Waxhaw Origin Destination Grant Project in the amount of $70,000, and authorize the town manager and finance director to execute the terms of the agreement.
Very good. Everybody got that one? It's kind of a long one there, but all right. So motion's up to approve both parts of this. So we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Westlake.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Back to Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Moore, aye.
Good. Motion has passed. Thank you on that one, everybody. Thank you, Theo and Rosemary. Appreciate that. A lot of extra work in there. As a lot of you know, we've done some studies, or we've been the recipient of some studies about the amount of traffic that runs through that downtown intersection. Last count that I had from DOT was pushing over 19,000 cars a day through that. So we'd like to really understand that a little bit better. I think if you stood out there in the corner for quite a while, you'd see that most of those people don't stop and get an ice cream cone on their way home. They're going just home. So I think it's going to be very good to know exactly what our traffic directions are. And you're right, it will better equip us to make better decisions on the roadway designs and directions. So thank you guys for that. Appreciate the engineering staff for taking care of that.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to go to the second part of this one. This is ordinance 202-1018, establishing a special revenue fund for the downtown park honorarium fund. So this one, I think we're going to have Miss Dina is up first on this one. So this is again tag team by Miss Rosemary. So Dina, you're up first.
Thank you. Yeah, Miss Rosemary and I are tag teaming this together.
All right.
All righty. So we're going to talk to you tonight about how we can do some fundraising for our downtown park to help with our amenities and our public art project that we are getting started on. Go in. So our beautiful downtown park, where we're about to have a groundbreaking ceremony at the end of the month. We're so excited. We will ask if we can do a brick fundraising and for the park, and that will go into the circle area where the art will be located at. So the brick pavers, the Park and Rec Committee did an awesome job at researching all these companies to help us find the right one that could handle us walking on it as well as us driving on it when we have events and vendors set up and all that good jazz. And also we found a company that matches our red brick of downtown, which, as you know, we're taking all of our themes of our downtown into the park. So this will be a wonderful complement for that. And our black accents on the print on the bricks themselves. We're proposing to do 2 different types of bricks, the rectangular kind and the square kind, and then complement that with a decorative brick in the middle. So we'll make a really cool pattern as well. This is an awesome way for our families and businesses and clubs to be a part of the park. We just had Autumn Treasures and we had a little, would you like more information about this? We had over 10 pages of interest and to put a brick in the park. So there is lots of interest from our citizens that want to be a part of it and have that that special momentum that they a piece of their family made that foundations of the park. So we're asking your permission to start that fund, and Ms. Rosemary is going to talk about that, and then also talk about sponsorships of some of our amenities in the park. So I help with the downtown benches, and when a family wants to sponsor a bench, we have this beautiful bronze plaque that we have on the bench itself, and that way it remembers their family members or just gives a shout out to their family members. And then we were thinking the same thing with the park. So we have picnic pods that we're going to have 6 of those. And then we also have family swings that we'll have through the park. So this is just a wonderful way for our businesses or our community groups to be a part and help with those amenity costs to bring down the budget a little bit. So again, we're thinking of all kinds of cool ways to bring wonderful amenities to the park through this fundraising effort. Any questions so far?
None so far, keep going.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Rosemary is going to come up next with basically to talk about the budget and how if we went over on how much we got in the funding, that would go for amenities, other amenities in the park, such as extra things to go on the playground. So all the funding would stay in the park. So that's what Ms. Rosemary is going to talk about.
Thank you. Thank you, Dina. So North Carolina General Statute 160A12 gives local municipalities authority to establish a special revenue fund to accept donations of real or personal property. So staff would like to request that we set up a special revenue fund, and I thought we would call it the Downtown Park Honorarium Fund. That way, if someone would like to purchase a brick, a bench, a picnic pod, or any other item, the funds from those donations, well, it's really not a donation, it's a purchase, but would go into this fund and then go directly back out. This fund is not set up where the money will come into the town as a revenue into our general fund. It will be in this special project fund. The budget that we put in place or requesting put in place is for $50,000. And that was a target that Dina and her team had for the special art project. As this fund will be set up, any additional revenue will stay in this fund. No money will ever be transferred out of this fund. All revenue received will go towards park amenities. So anything in contribution over the amount of the signature art piece that we'd like to purchase for downtown will stay in there and continue to buy new equipment or anything else that we need for that park. Does anybody have any questions on that? I know it's a little different than what we've done. It's kind of like the caboose fund. Yes, Miss Ann.
This happen.
Yes, Miss Ann.
So question I have is, are these funds specifically to purchase like an item, or could they be used for any of the operational piece?
No, ma'am. They are in purchase of something, a physical object, a brick. They purchase a brick, the brick goes into the park. And then the revenue generated will help purchase the signature art piece for the park. So it's really not a donation. People are getting something for their money. They're making a purchase, and they happen, so they're making a purchase of a brick, and they're just going to give us the brick. If they want to keep the brick, that's okay. That's okay too. But I believe that the interest in that would be that it's in the park, and so it's a twofold win for the park.
What if someone just wanted to make a monetary donation? Do we have to? Could they just say, "I want to put, I really want to help support the park," and here's a monetary donation? Or does that not? Do we have to? How does that work?
So we have other ways to take donations, but if they give us a donation, it has to be specifically for the park. So we could put the revenue in that fund, but it has to be stated that it is specifically for the park, because that's the only thing that can go into this fund. We cannot take donations for park and recs or donations to the town or any other type of donation. It has to be exactly for the park and for the art project.
Or
Yes,
future
Pedro?
amenities.
Yes.
Quick question. So this is going to be ongoing. We're let's say 5 years down the road, someone says, "Oh, I want to replace a brick or whatever, donate another bench," as they come offline. So my question is, if we're going to do this, how does that work in the future? How does that? It will always be, that fund will always be there then.
Yes, sir. Just like we have a caboose fund, and there haven't been donations in that fund for many years, and it sits at North Carolina League of Municipal Trusts, and it generates a little bit of interest every month, but it stays in there. We cannot use that for anything but buying a caboose. We also have a cemetery fund. It's a little bit different. It's called the Jewel Fund. It was a donation from a family, and we cannot use that money for anything other. Well, in that one specifically, we can only use the interest off of that. That's more of a foundation type of thing. So we have all kinds of different funds. So it's really not that much more difficult to keep up with it. When the revenue comes in, it gets coded directly to this fund, and it'll go right back out. It will never hit our town books like the Jewel Fund does and the Caboose Fund does. This one won't. It will go, people will bring it in, and then we'll pay the vendor. It never hits us as a revenue. It will never be counted as our asset on our books.
Okay, so the second part of my question was, is there any way to put this on the town website? For example, if there's a link there that, you're new to town and, hey, we have this park, and if you would like to contribute or make a donation to that effect, is that something we can incorporate in the town website?
Yes, Dina, you can tell me about your committee member, please.
Yes. So we have the brick company is actually going to set us up with a link for our own little page. They take all the orders. We We bank the funds and we buy the bricks all at one time, but they set the orders up in what we want on, what they want on the brick. And they've got like little symbols they can put on the brick too, if they want a puppy dog on it or the Park and Rec logo on it. And then we go through that link, do all the orders through them. And then when we're ready to, I actually talked to Benish today about when to order the bricks for us to be ready to install, because this is a first phase. So we actually have a good 5 to 6 months. And then they're going to be installed like in May, June for the park. So we're going to be like all over media and our website to get people involved and get the bricks ordered. And then we'll make the purchase. So we get all the funds in, make the purchase, give it to the contractor to install. So this is, it's really exciting because they actually help us through the whole process. And the Park and Rec Committee did such a great job on finding this company. We've been working on it all summer long, and they rocked it out on getting us a solid company.
I did want to let you know that I did make it a little bit broader for this ordinance, that it would include benches, picnic pods, and other items. If we limited ourselves to the brick, then we would be out there setting up a whole bunch of different special revenue funds. So we made it a little bit broader, that we can do other
Amenities
fundraising activities for the park. And if this ever ceases to exist, I mean, if we get to a point where there's no money left in the fund and the board decides they want to close it, then they can close it also. But as long as there's revenue in there, it has to be used for the park, for amenities.
Very good.
Good questions. Any other questions?
Right, I see no other hands going up there. Okay, since sounds like a fun thing to do. I know there were a lot of people when I was out over the weekend that were signing those sign-up sheets. Thank you. You said you have 10 of them so far, and
10 pages. There was like
pages.
20 on a page.
That's a bunch. That's a great start. And
It
that's
is.
just weekend. So that's awesome. All right, if there are no other further comments and questions on this one, the presenters are looking for a motion on this one to approve and adopt this ordinance. So can I have a motion, please? Please state it all.
I'll make the motion to approve and adopt ordinance number 2021-018, establishing a special revenue fund and budget for the downtown park honorarium fund. Authorize the town manager and finance director to receive these funds and allocate revenues received in excess of $50,000 to purchase additional downtown park amenities.
Outstanding. Okay, the motion's up. Oh, my screen moved around here. The motion's up. So we're going to start with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Westlake.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Back to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
All in. Great job, you guys, of thinking of that. So it seems like a great vendor, subcontractor come out and do the work. So they will install, do everything. That's a pretty good package.
Yeah. So they make the bricks and then our general contractor installs. So everything's going to work seamlessly.
Very good. All right. Appreciate that. That'll be nice work. All right. We have the next one up here. We have the application consideration for Howie Mine Road Sidewalk Improvement Project. And we're going to have Mr. Matt Hubert come up, our Assistant Town Manager and Engineering Director. So Matt, you look good in pink. You're up.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Seems like for a minute we stopped talking about grants, and I just can't have that. We want somebody else's money. So I'll lead into just another conversation about asking for CRTPO funds. And begin my share screen. We all see the presentation? Very good. Okay, so this is our call for CRTPO funds. Closes the end of this month. And so we don't want to miss this opportunity, and it's taken us some time to whittle down. We've got a lot of options, knowing that we have improvements needed all across town. But we've whittled it down to one specific project, and that's what we bring before you tonight. Just to kind of go through, the CRTPO is a regional transportation planning organization that we are part of. Every fall, they open up a call for projects. These are construction projects, and the funds would be eligible to go toward design, right-of-way, utility relocation, and construction. This call, the award will likely occur next year, and then the funds would not be available until fiscal years 23 through 26. So the project we've decided to select from the administrative side is the Howie Mine sidewalk. This is to replace the northern section of sidewalk that runs from Providence Street to Curitan Street. You see from a picture here, the existing sidewalk is substandard. It's only 4 feet wide, and sometimes it's less than that. It's very old. It's a non-standard style. It's got a straight edge. There's no curb. I mean, there's no gutter. There's just a straight edge curb, and so it's dangerous both for the pedestrians and for the cars traveling along it, because if your tire gets too close to that edge, it's going to cause immediate damage. And if you're walking on it, you don't want to even use the full width, because traffic comes by so quickly and so close to you. It's been an issue for some time. So this is just to show that this has been on our comprehensive transportation plan that the CRTPO keeps on file. All projects for their funding generally need to be on this list, so they know it's already programmed. We also have just completed our transportation plan, and it's been identified on the list for improvement. When we completed that study last year, the first tier projects are all already programmed into the CIP if they're possible to be. And so we started focusing on the second tier projects. And because we're pretty well programmed through the CIP with our funding to date, Howie Mine is one that I do believe we will have funds available for the match, and it will fall in the same timeline as our CIP that I'll show here in a second. Get a little bit more granular. Our pedestrian plan, wants to focus on the importance of getting people close to downtown to be able to walk instead of have to get in your car and drive. And so this kind of shows that it's within the 5-minute walking radius. This project would improve the ability for residents to just walk on into town. Another piece of the CRTPO's requirements is that public engagement is a necessary piece of any grant that they award. And what this does is ensures that we specifically address the needs of the residents involved, to make sure that we're giving them exactly what they want, not just what we think they want. So here's a rundown of the CIP list out through fiscal year 25-26. And as you see indicated here, Howie Mine is on the list for that final year of, if the town were to do it, we had projected $350,000 needing to be set aside for that. So here's the analysis. In following the CRTPO guidelines, these costs get more expensive in the way that they estimate them, and also in the way they're administered. So this is a specific breakdown of what we're proposing in the application. The design phase is $130,000 for survey and design services. Right-of-way and utility relocations estimated at $55,000. In the black is our 20% match. The construction is set at $465,000. 93,000 of that would be town funds. So the total estimate is $650,000, with the town's 20% match being $130,000. So compared to the initial layout in our CIP, this is still over twice the savings of if we were to program it ourselves. And again, it's a reimbursement grant, so we would be expected to provide the funds and payment for work as it goes along, and then be reimbursed as those invoices come in on a quarterly basis. And again, we would propose that it's expected at least that we'd be able to begin sometime in 2023 with our design and right-of-way, and then 26 for construction. So the request here is that we simply have to provide a letter of support in the application. And so we just want to get consensus that this project is favorable to proceed for this year's call, and submit the application along with a notice, a letter of support with the application that the board approves. Are there any questions? Yep, Jeff.
Just for one clarification too, is you would spread out the design, right of way, and the construction into different CIP years, so that you wouldn't be putting all that into one CIP year.
Right. We'd partner with Rosemary and basically do whatever she tells us. And so she'll be setting up those funds that we've seen somewhat regularly, so that to make sure that the monies that are required to be expended are separated out from the general fund, and we follow the terms of the grant as well. Any other questions?
Ken has a question.
Sorry about that. I was on mute again. Little background noise. Do we have any, can you give us a timeline of what the expected, so you're going to submit the application. So when would we spend our first dollars?
Probably not until fiscal year 23. So basically next year, if we're awarded, the agreement would come out, and then it has to go to the Board of Transportation. And so that takes some time. And then the municipal agreement is completed, and the municipal agreement outlines specifically what years, what phases are expected to proceed, and what amount of funds would be required to support each of those phases throughout those fiscal years. And it's all very controlled and specific through NCDOT, so that it's always in front of everybody. There's nothing, it's all very transparent.
Very good. And so the expectation would, from a readiness standpoint, is the 650,000 to go in, because we would then get reimbursed at the completion of the project. But this is, as you stated earlier, part of the 5-year plan.
Right. And so we program this in the 5th year, all in one project amount. But if we're going to proceed through the grant, I would be requesting that we break out each phase so that we aren't on the hook for $650,000 outright. So we're only on the hook for each specific phase. So in let's say fiscal year 23, we're only encumbering $130,000 of total cost that get reimbursed in that phase, and so on through right-of-way and utilities, which typically happens in design as well. And then the construction, the bulk of it is a separate item as well, where we're on the hook for the 465, but our match is 93. So that as that project gets completed, each quarterly invoice amount gets refunded back to us or reimbursed to us to keep us solvent and not having to have all that money in one spot tied up just for this project.
And the notification of the project award is anticipated for March of next year. And so once we knew that, then we could move forward on any aspect of it that we would want.
Well, they'll tell us when. It's kind of like TAP, where if they've got the money, they'll tell us, hey, go ahead and do it. If they don't have the money, they'll say, no, we need you to wait till next year. But the communication is we're always waiting for their approval at each stage, where then we'll be able to kind of take our cues from their timeline as it goes forward.
Very good. Appreciate that. Any questions for Matt on this? Commissioner Simpson, I see your hand forward.
Yes, this may also be a Jeff question too. So just so that I want to make sure I understand it. So the Howie Mine Sideway project, we have programmed in the CIP for roughly 5 years from now, and this would allow us to get matching grant funds to help pay for that. So it would help to reduce what we would pay or what our cost would be to the town. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes.
And then if we wanted to, what happens if we wanted to do different part? We have to wait for them to approve what part of the design or what part of the phase we want. We couldn't do something sooner if we had the funds. Could we?
I think if we signed an agreement with them, then we would be going through their process. So yeah, we would have to get their approvals through each stage.
Okay.
Can I add a little bit to that?
Yes.
So this is a capital project like any of the other projects, and you referenced the TAP grant. So what you do is you set up that budget and you basically say these are revenues that we plan to receive and revenues that we are going to contribute. So you set up that special project and it shows how you're going to fund that special project, whether you do it in phases or not. It's understood that it's a capital project and it's going to be spread out over several years. So how you make sure that you have the match revenue in there is that you're aware of it. There's several ways you can do that. You can encumber it, a special way, or there's multiple ways you can do that. I think that the staff is pretty well aware of our CIP and how much money each year we're going to put into each project on there. Every time we go to do one, we look at that CIP and see what fund we're going to take monies out of and look and see how much money we have in the different funds. So that's pretty much how it will go, just like the TAP grant did. It's in budget. We've never received the money, but there's a place for it when it comes.
And to Ann's point, if there were a reason we would want to kind of get out ahead of it, similar to what we did with TAP, is we could request to have a portion modified, and the town, but we would just be required then to expend 100% of that phase of funds. So if we wanted to do design early, we'd be talking about spending all of that $130,000 instead of just the $26,000. And so, I mean, again, we have found where TAP has held us back in some ways, but we're so kind of got so many things ahead of us before we get to this point. I don't know if that makes much sense, but there is that option, that ability to maybe jumpstart it if we come into some more money, say the federal infrastructure projects start coming out, that may well make some sense.
I think that was part of my concern, because the TAP grant, I mean, I just feel like we've been waiting forever before dirt gets moved. And if there's, maybe we had a windfall, we had the revenue to actually start this project, that to be held up because we have to wait for them, it gets frustrating.
Yeah, and I don't think DOT would ever be in a position to say, no, we want to spend our money, their own money, right? So if we were going to offer to take over more of that burden, I don't think that's a difficult conversation to have.
unless there was another reason to do so, or we did have some extra revenue. That sidewalk is a problem out there. We're gonna have to decide at one time what we're gonna do with it. If this pursuit isn't successful, we're gonna still have to do something. So we should keep that in mind as well. So.
And Mayor, one other comment about that. I mean, so going through this project keeps this sidewalk on a similar trajectory to where it's planned for right now in the CIP. And that was one of the reasons for that as well. And, obviously, if we want to expedite that process, as Matt mentioned, that we can do that, we would just be sacrificing the reimbursement for that particular phase if we chose to do that.
All right, very good. Any other questions from anybody on this topic here? I think what staff and Mr. Matt is looking for is basically a motion from the board to make the application with the understandings of the parameters that he set forth in his presentation. So anybody up?
I'll make a motion. Motion to direct staff to apply for the CRTPO DA funding for the Howie Mine sidewalk with a 20% local match and letter of support for the project.
Very good. Motion's up. I'm going to start again with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Maury, aye.
To Commissioner Westlake.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Thank you for that motion. Matt, you have some more marching orders.
Very good.
So-
Thank you.
Hopefully we can give you what you need for that. It's much needed on that side. I live over on that side as well, and walking over there, not only because of the age of that sidewalk, but its section is a little interesting. So I hope we can get that one done.
Absolutely.
Right. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to go down to the leadership reports next, and this one might be a fun one. There's a lot of good things to share, and I'm going to pass the baton over to our town manager, Jeff Wells. Jeff, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things to share tonight, but I'll one other little bonus thing to share. And since Rosemary brought it up with our caboose fund, if anybody knows where we can find a caboose for about $3,000, we have a fund for you. So anyway, we had our fifth annual employee recognition luncheon a couple of weeks ago, and that was some great time spent. We had a great turnout for that from most of our town staff. It was great fun, great fellowship. The primary reason that we have this luncheon is to reward and recognize employees for their outstanding service to the town. And what really makes it special is that the employees are recognized by their peers. So all of the awards received nominations from the staff. And I just wanted to mention the 7 award winners for this year, 2021. They were Officer Clint Whetstone for the Above and Beyond Award, Paula Ezell for the Customer Service Award, Kevin Starnes for the Innovation Award, Madison Miller for the Professional Development Award, Lieutenant Brad Cohn for the Leadership Award, Nick Bonweg and Matt Falkenberry for the Team Award, and then Dina Sabinski for the Department Head of the Year Award. Just wanted to mention how proud I am of them this year, and we just have a great team all around, and looking forward to another great year of leadership from all of them and everybody else. Next, I just wanted to go into, and I'm not going to take Dina's thunder about Autumn Treasures in general. I'll let her talk about that, but I did want to talk about the town info area, specifically the CIP and ARP tents, or the Capital Improvement Plan, American Rescue Plan tents. We had set up that area for informational purposes so that when people came by, they could ask questions, they could provide us comments, give us feedback on basically the town projects, what we're doing right now. And I can tell you universally that all of the discussions, comments, and feedback was very, very positive. Having those graphics there was extremely informative and very effective I did not ask everybody that I talked to, but the ones that I did ask, I would say about 75 to 80% of the people were from Waxhaw. And we talked to hundreds of people out there. Obviously, there were thousands of people at the event itself. I had myself, along with several other staff that participated at the tent there for all day long, both days. I can tell you universally, people really do like the direction of the town as far as the town projects that we're doing, really like the plan. Again, everything was very universally positive. I think that this board understands that people are seeing the accomplishments out there and are excited what is coming. I think we can feel very good and confident about the direction of things and how they're moving. I did want to mention a few other themes that came up through the discussions. We had a comment box there, and of course, I've already provided you the written comments of additional things that people mentioned. There were several themes that came up in our verbal discussions and interactions with folks, and I thought they were important to share with the board and also with the public out there. Waxhaw Parkway was a big discussion. There was, I would say, I would guess it was anywhere between 40 to 50 people, maybe even more, that asked specifically about the Waxhaw Parkway. Almost as much asked about NC-16 and the schedule for the widening. A little bit less so, but still a whole lot of people mentioned bike lanes, in particular Waxhaw Marvin Road, and having bike lanes located on that stretch of road, but not just exclusively Waxhaw Marvin Road. But that seemed to be the road that most people mentioned when they discussed bike lanes. Sidewalks too was another big discussion. Sidewalks everywhere around town, but there was one particular spot that got mentioned significantly more than others, and that was out in front of the schools, Cuthbertson Middle, Cuthbertson High School. And I know that right there in front of the schools is not in the town limits, but of course Lawson is. And I think there's an opportunity there where, maybe we can work with the county and the school systems and see what opportunities could rise there. So, that just tells me too, and if you look at our CIP scheduling for next year, we have on there Waxhaw Parkway West. I think that timing is very good, especially for what we heard from the folks out there. So, if you take statistical sampling into account, that many people mentioning Waxhaw Parkway, I think we can safely say that a very great amount of the town population is very interested in that road and also NC-16. And so, I think that definitely should continue to be a focus of ours as we move forward for obviously what is in our means that we can do, but then also advocating to other organizations for the projects that are out of our means to do, but still trying to champion in those to the finish line. So that's what I had this evening, Mayor. Thank you very much.
It was, as I was out on the street all weekend with you guys walking around, the positive comments were just overflowing. People really enjoyed it. Again, we won't take too much of Dina's thunder, but let her tell the story up there. Dina, go ahead and you can shine. There you go.
Okay, so I'm good up. I was getting a little teary-eyed. I was like, don't do that to me. So I'm going to go over what all the wonderful things we're about to do next, and then give you a little update what happened this past weekend. So share my screen. All righty. So we are in our fall program guide, and this is a great way for you to sign up using Rec Desk. And so please look out for that on our website and our social media. We also have it, Ms. Justine's done a great job about placing them in some of our downtown businesses as well. And Miss Ashley is helping out with that as well as helping spread the word on the program guide. Walking clubs every Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have this week, actually tomorrow, family pottery wheel class with Miss Kristen at the Art Box. And then we have a cooking class coming up on Friday as well. So please, last minute signups, we can more than welcome to have them a part of the group. We have with our seniors or 55 and older group on this Thursday, we have a pottery class as well at the McDonald House. Love to have you there. And then Thursday night, we've got a charcuterie class that's all very popular, and that's at the McDonald House as well. Something new, Ms. Justine loves doing nature walks, and so we're going to do a spooky one. And then we're going to be at Can Creek next week. And I think we're trying to get more participants in there because we were full. But we wanted to make sure that we just give that shout out, that partnership's there, and love to do that. And then we also have mixology coming up the following week. We have a new date for our veterans clay sculpture class. It's going to start on the 15th instead of the 1st. Mr. Peter had something that came up, so we're going to start just a little bit later, so that gives you more time to sign up. Tomorrow at Hero Project, we will be at Town Creek with scary bats and skeletons, so please join us there. And then also the following week, we're having a costume contest at Barnes Park. Please come ready for some spooky stories there. And this tells you about the rest of the year up to December for the Hero Project. Okay, so this past weekend was Autumn Treasures and the barbecue contest. I just want to say thank you to Waxhaw for coming out and enjoying a wonderful family event. We had over 16,000 participants throughout the weekend. I talked to the team. We went through the parking. We went through how many groupings were in the downtown. We had everybody spread out as much as possible in different areas where they can spread out. We closed a couple more streets down so we can have that availability. All the Team Waxhaw really came through. We had such support staff with our finance of getting us prepared. Public service helped us out with make sure downtown was nice and shiny for us. Fire and police were there, making sure that we're all safe. And knock on wood, we didn't have any incidents, so we're very blessed on that. Town hall team came, they showed up and they were awesome at the town tent in the CIP area. That support was very noticeable, especially from the Park and Rec team. We haven't always had that in the past. So again, thank you very much. And I just gotta say, the Park and Rec team rocks. They do. They went over and beyond, and having that team really made a huge difference on how everything got ran, how I was calmer this time. Right when I think about something, they've already got it done and are working on it. And they actually told me at the end, it's like, Dina, you're actually like, were barking at us. So you actually were pretty calm. I was like, I was. So I just want to say thank you to my internal team. Again, can't imagine not having them all with me. So it's just one of those, they're awesome and I appreciate them. So does anybody have any other comments before I move on to Fright Night? Because we're about to go into another one.
Can I just join in on that? Thank you, Dina, to you, your staff, Parks and Rec, all the volunteers. Everything was so well coordinated. People were having a good time. They were happy to be out. You seemed to be relaxed this time. When I saw you, even smiling. So that's a good thing. But everyone, they worked from sun up to sundown. You could see the hard work and the effort that was put in. And I think that everyone who came appreciated all the work and all your efforts that were done, along with staff, along with the Waxhaw Explorers that were there, police, fire, all of the businesses, everybody. It just seemed to be a really good time that was being had by all. And everyone was just glad to be there and back at Autumn Treasures. So just a big shout out to all of you and your staff for all of your efforts. You did an excellent job.
Thank you, Ms. Brenda.
We did. It was a great effort, and I'm just marveling at the number 16,000. That's got to be a record.
I think it is, because we usually bill it as around 10,000 for the whole entire weekend. Saturday was just amazing.
Saturday was packed.
Oh my goodness. But and again, everything ran so smoothly. I can't, they just rocked it out on making sure that we were all safe and healthy through the process. And everybody was so appreciative. I mean, all the smiling faces. I mean, Waxhaw, showed up, and they showed up happy. So that was awesome.
They showed up happy, they left happy. It was really a great event, and you're right, it came off. If there were any flaws, it certainly wasn't noticed. It was just covered in an instant. So, from my standpoint, certainly want to give a shout out to you and James and Mary and Joan and Justine, and we've got Jimmy out there, we've got Amy, who else? We got Chris and Riley.
And Bill.
Billy. That was quite a team. That thing was up and running. They were just like clockwork. And looking back, I was on the East End stage a couple of times where I could get up high enough and look across to the west, and it looked like the New York Marathon there. That's how many people there. It was just packed. Everybody was happy. And not only that, the kids were having a great time on the corner lot as well, with a couple of magicians that were there. It was such an awesome event. Great job to you and your team.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, I'm going to move into Fright Night. We have a week and a little over a week to recover, and we're back at it again. All right, so Fright Night is coming up on the 23rd. We have some opportunities for sponsorships if you would love to be a part of the event. But just give you a heads up about that timeline. At 4 o'clock to 7, we will be trick-or-treating with all of our wonderful downtown businesses and a couple trunk or treats. And then we'll have a Halloween costume contest. And then that's to 7:30. The Haunted Maze is the lightly booing is from 4 to 5. And then the scary booing is from 5 to 8. And then we have an adult party that will be at near Dream Chasers on that end. They'll have a band until 10. So again, another cool way for you to come out with your family and you get to dress up. How fun is that? And then we love to have you out and to have a safe way to trick or treat in our downtown. Again, and we're also adding a silent disco near the water tower area with the Haunted Maze. So it's really going to be cool. Love to see you there. So we have about a week off from that, and then we go straight into our groundbreaking ceremony for the downtown park. Invitations will be coming out either through email, or you'll get your personal handwritten invitation. We're going to have everybody gathered at 2:30 so we can start the ceremony around 3. And it will be at the location of the park off of Given Street. So we would love to have everybody participating. We're super excited, and we'll have some light refreshments as well. So we'd love to see you on the 29th. Volunteers, we need them all the time. So either adopt the space program, which we'd love to have you a part of. Or the sign up, Genius, if you want to come out and be a zombie in the high school takeover that we have for the maze. So any way you would like to come volunteer with us, we would love to have you. So please call the office to get more information. Miss Justine's working on the spring program guide. So if you like to come and play with us in a program or a workshop, please come and join us this coming up spring, and contact Miss Justine for more information. And I'll leave you with our vision and mission as we are rocking it in Waxhaw, and love to have you a part of it. Any questions?
All right, any comments? That's great. You guys are rocking it. It's really nice to see the direction that the town is wanting to go and actually achieving it. So that is definitely a team effort. More of this to come, I'm sure. And I had a lot of comments to me on asking if we could have this more than one time a year. So something like maybe a spring event. We'll get you
We do
some
have
stats.
Kaleidoscope in the spring.
But I think that's good. I think people are enjoying that camaraderie, that gathering there in the town, in our downtown area. Businesses were all busy. I know that during that event, all the vendors ran out of supplies, materials, food. They had brought enough where they thought they were going to be handing it out as a donation later, but that didn't happen. So again, kudos to that team of yours that you've assembled now in this last year or so. It's really showing. So appreciate that. All right, any other comments to Miss Dina along the way here? Seeing no hands going up, we're going to drop down. Any other comments by the Board of Commissioners? You guys must want to go home tonight. See, Craig, we do go home early, sometimes compared to where you might be looking. So
Yes.
with that, no other comments by anybody? Craig, thank you for sitting in with us today.
No,
Melody,
my
thank-
pleasure. My pleasure.
Good, and Melody, thank you for taking a couple of steps there and filling in. Jeff, congratulations to you and your team. You put together a really great event and it shows. So let's keep on heading that way. We have nothing tonight on closed session. So first up for adjournment gets to pay the bar tab. How's that? No, nobody's going to go for that one. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn then?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You guys are so brave. All right, motion's up to adjourn. We're going to start with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Westlake.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Back to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Standing. It's a wrap, everybody. Thanks for a great week, great month. Let's keep on going. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.